Hello and welcome to another season of Crown Cup. We are here once again to kick off yet another season, but I'm here as the only Jaffa cake that has escaped the factory. But I am not alone. I am here with my co-caster Zeus.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pumped. This is going to be a great season. I mean, look, you've got your crown, I've got my crown right here, and I'm ready to see who's ultimately claimed the victor and wins the crown this season. We have 24 incredible teams here playing this season, and first match starting off with a banger. Can you tell us about these teams?
Yeah, absolutely. We got two amazing teams coming up. We've got Berlin Monkeys and APL Sedna. LPL have actually sent quite a number of their teams into this particular tournament. But as you can see on the screen here, Apollo sending one of their top teams, in fact, trying to hopefully get the top prize for sure in this tournament. But not to be outdone, we do have a strong contender, and some of these players have played before as well. So I am looking forward to seeing them perform once again. In fact, I think one of these teams, two teams that are playing today, are going to be making it into, probably the grand finals. I'll be honest. Like that's my honest prediction straight off the bat. Before we've even seen any of these games play, I really do think that that is going to be happening.
I mean, that's a big swing off the bat there. If you hit, that's going to be remarkable. I'm certainly excited to see what these teams can do. With the early days of this tournament, we're really going to see what potential there is and kind of what metas are forming with there not being too much RLC Overwatch um, esports going on right now, especially at top tier. That generally picks up later in the year. So I'm excited to see what these teams are going for. And as the tournament goes on, we already know the meta is going to shift wildly because in about a week, they're releasing 5 new characters. I'm sure everyone watching has already seen, but we were going to get Domnia, Emre, Mizuki, Anran, and Jetpack Cat. So I'm kind of excited to see how teams implement those. They won't be able to play them until 2 weeks after they've released them.
Yeah, that is a rule that has been implemented before in Crown Cup when other heroes such as Kiriko, Juno have all been released. So I don't, it's no real surprise there, I hope, for the teams. But for me personally, though, I am still looking forward to how these teams are going to be, processing and understanding and taking these heroes and just applying it to their strategy. I mean, what kind of characters are you most excited for out of the five that are going to be added into the game next week?
It's got to be Jetpack Cat. Like, I don't care if Jetpack Gun is awful or not. I just want to see people play the cat that can fly. We've been waiting for this since like 2016, and we're finally getting Jetpack Cat. I'm so happy.
Yeah, I am looking forward to Jetpack Cat as well. It's definitely one of the more creative characters I think that they've released in this. I just don't think any of the others are going to be all that interesting. I mean, I gotta say though, I mean, who wouldn't want to be playing around as like a cute a little cat with a jetpack going around blasting people in the face? I have to admit, it's definitely something I am looking forward to. It just looks so adorable. How can you
Yeah,
not like that character?
yeah. Uh, uh, what I really hope is that there's like a shared emote with Brig. Not sure if we're gonna get it, but fingers crossed. Uh, Now coming on to the tournament, which should be starting in just a couple minutes. I'm excited to see how these teams approach map choices and compositions. We've seen like from previous seasons, there's a lot of like circuit royale being chosen for teams that like to play more sustain based comps and a slightly longer game, especially with like Life Weaver. And then there's several teams that like that faster pace of like Lijiang Tower or King's Row. That's just really satisfying way to play the game. So I'm excited to see what comes out here. Starting on control with Lijiang Tower now not in the map pool. That might force teams to play a bit differently to what they would have done in previous seasons.
Yeah, absolutely. Lijiang Tower was quite a popular map, I believe, in the previous season. And honestly, it's probably one of my favorite maps as well, out of all of the controls. It's quite a well-rounded map. It's been out for a long time as well, so the meta is quite mature, unlike some of those other ones. I'm quite interested to see as well what kind of maps these teams are going to be picking out throughout the tournament. We have, like you said, we've seen a lot of Circle Royale in the previous season, and I wonder if that's going to continue again. Sigma has been kind of on the rise as well with the recent meta and their, you know, perks that have been added in. Do you think that that's going to influence the map choice at all?
Um, Potentially, I'm not sure how much. Sigma is a good character because he works in almost any comp. I've seen him run with like Brigana in admittedly quite rare cases, but then also like Lucio Bap is extraordinarily common for both Sigma and Orisa. Orisa's decent right now. Sigma is definitely more dominant. And kind of the antithesis to that is potentially Reaper Zarya comps, like Reaper Bastion comps. I know they've been trying to fix those characters as they made them giga powerful just a couple months ago. So it'll be interesting to see kind of what rock paper scissors these teams will form and how that's going to ebb and flow, especially with their ability to ban characters. I believe it's one character per match for each team, and our first map of streamed games has been chosen. It is Nepal.
Yeah, Nepal. It's again, it's another map that's been in the game for quite a long time. So the teams are going to know this map quite well. But it really comes down to your kind of preparation and how you understand that map. Because sure, it's been in the game for a long time, but we've also been through a lot of metas, and you need to know how to work with your team, position in the right places, and use the abilities of your heroes to really capture and win that fight. And because of that, I feel like these kind of maps and matches are really a litmus test of how things are going to be going in the future. But while they have chosen the map, as you were saying, hero bans are a thing now, and you know, I believe Face It is following the same kind of sort of rules as Overwatch now after a little bit of a
Ah,
dilemma earlier on in the previous season. Uh, some, abstract memories if people cast their mind back to that. But you can ban one hero of one type, and then you cannot ban another hero so you cannot ban another hero in the same category as the other team. So if you ban tank, the other team can't ban tank, right? If you ban DPS, the other team can't ban DPS. And
and
we do now have the bans coming through at the moment, Vendetta and Zarya. Now, I'm not entirely surprised by these bans, but I don't know what you think about these bans, Zeus.
uh, Zarya makes a lot of sense. She counters a lot of comps that are kind of central to the game right now, especially like as we mentioned, Sigma. Vendetta's the interesting one. We've definitely seen that Vendetta can be really good in the hands of someone who's comfortable with her, especially in low elo. In higher elo, she can start to struggle, but the general consensus between players is that she's pretty strong. So it doesn't shock me that a lot of teams are probably looking at running her or banning her this season. And I'm interested to see what happens around the character if there aren't buffs or nerfs coming in. And the Overwatch devs might actually not want to nerf her because they're trying to make her central to the lore of Talon now, with her kind of replacing Doomfist. Sorry for spoilers if you've not watched the new animatic, but
No.
it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'm almost sad in that way. I feel like Doomfist was doing a great job, both narratively and also in the game. Although I'm sure many people are a little bit disappointed, frustrated even with Doomfist, as they can be a little bit of a menace, just because of the abilities that they have. And actually, in some ways, I feel like Vendetta plays a little bit like old school Doomfist. You have that sort of long range punch that you can go in get into the enemy. You have those movement abilities to sort of jump up and deal a lot of damage everywhere. So I feel like Vendetta plays a little bit like that. But I have to come back to a little bit of a point that you said about Vendetta maybe not getting any nerfs and being quite powerful at the moment, and that is definitely true. Vendetta starting off a little bit overjuiced, shall we say. But we should get straight into the fight though, as Doomfist here
Yes.
from the side of Sender.
Yeah, I mean, speak of the devil, I guess. But we see an interesting rotate from Berlin Monkeys here. choosing to be aggressive, taking complete control of the high ground, and it forces APL Sender to split up here. But with a dive comp that's this fast, they can kind of get away with doing so until Burden kills Lucio, already first streamed kill of the tournament, and that is a second and a third. Gosh, that was textbook by Berlin Monkeys. I've never seen anyone play first point under pole quite like that, but they ran Brawl into dive perfectly there.
Yeah, I feel like they know that map quite well if they're playing it like this. They came in, they knew how to sort of set up, and Sander, though, with their aggression, they just sort of lost it all almost immediately as Burning Monkeys. They rotated around onto the high ground perfectly. But now we've got a little bit of a jewel coming out. The DPS of the Genji trying to find a little bit of a pick on the back, but isn't able to do so. Gets taken down. Player advantage now. And now it's just one player left. It's not going to be enough. The map flips already. They should rush in from main, and there's very little the Berlin Monkeys could do.
Yeah, APL Sender. Also, textbook response with Pilzo is struggling just a little bit there to land his shots. Maybe a little rusty. Maybe the competition stress is getting to them a little bit. But hopefully we'll see an improvement coming up. Now, the dive and high ground able to recover just fine, trying to misplace our opponent, Show getting an early kill onto Burden, and the bowler shot comes out, able to get 2 more. It is a 4v1 on the objective now, with Tracer, Kiriko just dying at the end.
Yeah, I mean, the bowler shot there being used very well, finding the pick. Sedna were grouping up. They were able to find the kill, working well as a team and picking up the kills. I mean, I think there's a good reason why this team is in Champions Division. They're just working very well and making use of it. But you've got a couple of ultimates available to them. They've got that Kiriko ultimate, which is a lot more progress than Burning Monkeys have. So the favor is in their hands.
Yeah, looking for a punch hit, misses it, but still able to engage, able to push their enemy team back as Ram overcommits. Doesn't quite get punished properly for it though, but that is going to be difficult for APL to recover from and respond to. Able to get a nice hit onto Lucio, but doesn't quite kill as able to kill Show. That is the most fun name I've ever got to say as a caster.
Oh, it is certainly a good name to be saying. But unfortunately for APL, though, it was not enough. APL Sender, they were just not quite there. The Ramatra just staying alive, and now you've got all these ultimates online as well from Burning Monkeys. Overclock coming out early, try and keep them away for now, but they are able to find 1 kill, but not find much more. And it's enough to stall them at the very least.
Mm-hmm. Doom coming around here, trying to find an angle, probably going to use a lot of mobility to get in and try to get an early pick, looking to get their punch charged up, but Berlin Monkeys don't bite. They wait out their time, they bite it, and they're staying on high ground where it's hard to dive them. It's a really clever play here. Kiri looking to retreat here just a little bit, pops the ult to get into the enemy team as Doomfist responds in likeness, not able to find much value from it, and dies as a punishment, although they have just used 2 support ults. This is going to be a difficult fight coming up for both teams, although Berlin Monkeys does still have the ult economy advantage, despite Tummy Ache being close.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the ult advantage is really what's allowing Burning Monkeys here to win so consistently. You're able to keep up that ult advantage, and that's honestly what's far more important than your abilities at the end of the day. At least right now, you can just, if you've got a good ultimate, you can use it and you can win just like that. And unfortunately for Apollo Sender, they do not able to get in there to contest just in time. Unfortunately, they missed out on that opportunity. Burning Monkeys taking the first round victory there for them. But it's not over yet. There's still plenty of rounds to go. And I think that such a close round is quite surprising, given how dominant each team fight felt.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Now, the second point is incredible, because this is where you can boot people off. And APL Sender have both a Doomfist and Lucio. So I'm interested to see if they try to go for that opportunity. Also, again, on the Lucio, these teams, despite him not being the best in them, are now still focusing around Lucio, because he's ultimately really, really good if you can calm properly, which these teams will be doing. They will have practiced that so much, and it's kind of what's defined a lot of the Overwatch metas for several years, for better or for worse. Now,
Yeah, I mean, they're certainly going to be screaming out at the moment, trying to get down that tank, force them away, and they are able to get the point, put them back to choke at the very least for now. But the Doomfist is trying to pop forward, get a little space, the opportunity to poke them out. But unfortunately, it's just not enough. They've just got so much damage here from Burning Mode, so much ability to really cause pressure on the positioning of SPL Sender. And the Doomfist does go in, tries to kind of pick, maybe cause some damage for the rest of the team to join on, but unfortunately, it's just not enough. They're not able to capitalize on it. They have to back away. Tracer here trying to find a kill, but it is just not enough. But they are contesting point. Pressure is being applied here by SD. Are they able to break apart the defensive hold here?
absolutely, that is the question. And with Ram dealing so much damage here, he might be able to get the supports as they crumple beneath him. Yep, that was pretty aggressive, but certainly paid off. And a solid play from Berlin Monkeys. They're able to take control of the objective.
Yeah, I mean, APL Sedna, I mean, you saw they really pressured Berlin Monkeys off of that high ground on the right-hand side there, but then they just gave it up all too quickly, rushing in onto point, facing the Ramatra head-on, who can just hold up block with his two fists to survive for basically ever. And with the support of Berlin Monkeys on the behind, just completely free, it's no surprise the Berlin Monkeys were able to win that fight. But here we go, another fight coming out again. Unfortunately, the ram gets booped off, and that's all that they need.
Oh
surely.
no! I called it.
Sender. Getting a double kill, a double environmental kill. I love to see that.
Oh, wild! I mean, that's almost as good as when two Genjis fell off the map last season.
Oh my! I remember that. That was incredible. Beautiful moments in this, and I'm sure there's plenty more to come.
Really overcommits here, but doesn't quite get punished for it properly. Again, overcommits. This is not Show's day, but are they going to be able to recover properly? And choosing to hide behind this wall here, waiting for the enemy team. Not sure how much thought is being put into this play here, but it's certainly working. Although Berlin Monkeys have made a lot of progress, able to almost get the kill on the Lucio, but he just escapes with the near Ajax from jumping on the beat. Doesn't quite happen. And ooh, that is a nasty ult combo from APL Sedna, able to kill Sedna, able to kill two of their opponents and deny so much space. That is textbook from Berlin Monkeys. They're able to move so fast, so far forward as a unit, and APL Sedna with only a Doomfist can't do much to block it. They just have to play for kills.
Yeah, I mean, I love how they're kind of playing this honestly, the Ramatra here, going incredibly aggressive, going all the way into the backline, but they have left their supports all the way undefended. Surely this is going to be a misplay by Berlin Monkeys. Sedna are able to capture the point, leaving just one player around on the side to contest. Overtime it is, but Berlin Monkeys, they only need to win one fight, and they've got the vision, but they've not got any ultimates on their side.
Yeah. Now, it is certainly a close run thing here, with 58 on the point and a 99 from Berlin Monkeys. We've seen the way they're able to push up so fast, so quickly, that if they can just rotate onto point properly, they might be able to take it with relatively little congestion, but not if their Ram keeps dying like that. That was a really sweet play to get an early kill onto the most valuable player of the enemy team. And the swap to Orisa is interesting.
Yeah, I'm surprised by this swap to Orisa. I think the Ramatra was doing well, but it really depends on how you're trying to spec yourself out as a tank. And I think that's the difference between all the different tanks. You've got Sigma at the far end, who's got like lots of poke, but very little ability when you get close range. Whereas Orisa's just like got tremendous amounts of sustain and great use for their abilities. But unfortunately, it's just not quite enough. They do unfortunately go down as APL Sedna are now turning the story around, getting it all the way to 100%, capturing the point despite Berlin Monkeys doing a great job earlier on.
Yeah.
It's more than enough. I've got to say, Blizzard, I'm sorry. I just have to point this out. Blizzard, the indie development company that they are currently still unable to fix a bug in when observing games where the kill feed shows the wrong team color. I
Oof.
I don't know. I don't know why it's still a thing, but it's been a thing for like nearly 2 months now. I don't know why they can't just fix it. Just indie dev moments. Indie dev moments.
Mhm. Absolutely. Now we're looking for a TP here from APL Sender, a strategy we see quite often, and it's always fun to watch, especially if you've got a tracer, which Yelly seems to be going on. I'm interested to see what they can do here. We know that Brig recently was giga buffed to shut down tracers, but I think they've nerfed her since, and the enemy team aren't running her, so you're free to play her.
Yeah, I mean, why not? Might as well, Freya. But we've got beautiful punch there. Not able to capitalize on it, unfortunately. Oh no, sorry,
And
he's able to
likely to
capitalize
be
on it.
punished, gets fully healed with the combination of the Suzu, and they've locked in. Tamiya can show able to get that 3k, giving their opponents a Tamiya, if I'm being honest.
Ooh, I love that little wordplay there. Giving them a tummy ache for sure. I mean, it's a tough pill to swallow. I guess you've been eating a little bit of a bad strategy, and you don't want to be playing on an upset stomach at all.
No,
Daniel
absolutely.
Sander.
I mean, an upset stomach. If that was the worst ailment I got from fighting Doomfist, I'd be happy. Seemingly Vendetta got that in the recent animatic, and
Ooh,
a tight engage from Doomfist there, able to get 2 kills off the back of it. Does lose one themselves and the objective, but with their opponents surrounded, they should be able to recover just fine. Almost jumps off the map, now chasing down this Genji, steals the health pack, and cannot be saved by the Kiri. That was smooth from Show.
no! And loses as well. The Curry goes down as well. In addition, oh, that is so unfortunate to see. Apple Sender though, they've got this composition on lockdown pretty much. This Doomfist is doing incredible well. I'm not entirely sure about the Arista switch. They don't seem to be doing quite so well since they've switched to it, but I guess we'll hope and see.
Yeah, interesting. Now waiting around this corner, but Arisa knows he's there, almost able to kill Doom, but not quite. Now coming over the side, Tsukio breaks LOS and re-engages LOS, takes that extra damage, but with Beat, they can potentially survive, even though the team's more spread out and more separated than their opponents. But not if they do that. Not if they just get a 3k.
Yeah, look, they're just not going to need this beat. Yeah, they have it available to them, but like right now they're just not being pressured enough. They just don't have quite the right damage being given to them. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure what's going on at this point. But APL and Sender, they are being immaculate with their aggression so far. They're playing this really well. They're really damaging the tank, really forcing them.
In.
But we see the switch as
the
well.
Kill on Kiri. Yeah, the switch to Bull, shocking. I believe that's their second swap this get match. Tries to boop them off the point, but is ultimately able to waste a little bit of the Sojourn ultimate there. That is quite valuable, and just denying and controlling space as much as possible. The Doomfist boop onto here with 2 tanks that have the most displacement in the game. This is going to be a really frustrating match for everyone else involved.
Oh, for sure. This is certainly going to be becoming frustrating. You've got the spin to win character, although they are low on health. But this Doomfist is going for the isolated character here. That is 2 down, 3 down. Captured the point for APL Sender, and they are winning the first map. I mean, look, okay. They are currently making true on my little prediction of one of these teams being, strong. They're going to be winning this. They're going to be up there at the top of this leaderboard, and I think this is going to be the team. APL Sander, like I said, predictions first.
I mean, they were pretty solid there. Show especially doing a really, really good job at denying space, getting those opportunity for kills, and with such a good Sojourn and such a confident backline there, they were really able to do a lot that entire game. They struggled at certain points, but they ultimately came out on top. And I mean, with a 2-0 victory on map 1, that's pretty solid. But this is a best of 5, so there's still time for the tables to be turned. And I'm expecting a ban onto Doomfist uh, this game, if possible.
Yeah, I really do think that we are going to be seeing a Doomfist ban pretty soon from from one of these teams, from Monkeys. They've been, I feel like they've been really struggling against this Doomfist, who's been playing very aggressively. They've been making great use of their abilities. They've been really uh dependent and trusting of their support lineup and their DPS to go in and get those kills that they, after the disruption that they cause, and also just making use of the ult to get out. It's basically a get out of free jail card, the ult. So, making use of that, all of the abilities is incredible. But there are some other games that have also been going on while we have been bickering about, and good
Bickering.
news, absolutely. I mean, what else can I say? I love to yap. So
Uh,
we've got a report on those.
I
Apollo, I've got a good score for them so far, starting off strong with their fellow team Terra also winning their first map. We've got a couple of other things as well. Eclipse have EC Eclipse have also taken a point as well. So
yeah.
looking like it's looking good for both of those teams.
And I believe we're about to get an Ajax clip from day one of the tournament, yesterday or the day before, I believe, which hopefully fun. I've seen the clip. It's so funny. The best bowler shot of my life. Connects with Alicio mid-air, sticks him to the wall, and he can't do anything about it.
Can't do anything
This is
about
why
it.
you don't jump before you Lucio ult. It gives you too much airtime. You can't do
Watch,
anything.
look, no, no,
look,
no, 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 no.
He's not. He's not LeBron.
Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, it's so amazing. I really can we watch it again a third time? It's just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Here we go, third time. Bowler shot comes out. Lucio up in the air, gets pinned, dies.
Yeah, I think we
And
should
this is
start using
round
that as a
one.
stinger between scenes, just a transition.
Yeah, I should clearly put that on a hotline just so that like on my caster cam I can play it there as well. Just for the extra man. But yeah, like I was saying, first round, first map of the tournament, we already see an Ajax. In fact, another team that was playing on the same day at the same time, they also had an Ajax as well. So we had a little bit of a discussion, sorry, a challenge to say who got the first Ajax of the tournament. But no, it was that clip there, as you just saw, beautifully done. My word.
Yeah,
I can't.
brilliant.
I'm just looking forward to the rest of the series. If that's what happened in the first map, I am. The rest of the series is going to be absolutely incredible. I'm sure we're going to see so many more exciting moments, such as that Ajax. In fact, do you think we're going to see an Ajax in this series?
I don't know yet, but what I do know is we're about to hop on to King's Row, one of my favorite maps in the game, and my favorite in this map pool for the tournament. Um, it's such a great map. It's so well thought through. It really promotes that brawl style of Overwatch that everyone thinks of when you think of Overwatch. You've got Lucio speeding the entire team in, everyone running it down. You've sometimes got Reinhardt, although it is rare in competitive tournaments, unfortunately. I'm still excited to see what happens on this awesome map.
Yeah, I think on this map we're probably going to see. Oh, yeah, I think we're probably going to see perhaps some Reinhardt, but I really don't think we're going to be seeing Reinhardt. I'd love to see Reinhardt, but I really don't think we're
I
going to be seeing.
I
We're probably going
would.
to be seeing some Ramattra for sure, right? There's a strong kind of character, especially on this kind
Oh,
of on that map. And another thing as well about this map is that the positioning in the lanes is incredibly important. And some teams, even the highest levels, apparently can't play Kings Row First Point very well. But
no.
we do have the bans, and we do have Tracer and a Lucio ban, which I think is an interesting ban. I'm not sure. Tracer, you're able to contest certain high grounds, certain lanes, particularly well because of your abilities that allow you to, um, push or get pushed by the opposing team and survive
Yeah.
getting kicked out of different lanes. And the Lucio has seen a lot of play as the main support. Uh,
Mm,
you know, has
yeah.
been key in getting picks and doing damage for your DPS to follow up on, but also has been a staple of the support lineup. And with Lucio gone, what kind of supports do you think we're going to be seeing instead?
I mean, I'm not sure. I think that teams with Lucio banned on King's Row, where he is arguably best and most important, um, they're going to struggle to come up with stuff. I think that um, that Berlin Monkeys are going to run it down with the dive again, potentially seeing a Brigana this time. Last time they ran Kiri Lucio, both teams ran Kiri Lucio, in fact. So I'm interested to see what happens here. And of course, we're seeing Wu Yang wasn't available to be played last season in this tournament, even though he was kind of dominating the pro meta. So now we're going to see Wu Yang in um, Crown
Yeah,
Cup for the first time.
yeah, absolutely. First time in Crown Cup. Wu Yang, quite an interesting character, actually. I think Wu Yang. I think Wu Yang really tries to do the job that Lucio tries to do.
Yes.
And it sort of kind of fills in a very similar sort of role, much more than say Juno, which I feel like the developers were trying with Juno, but Juno unfortunately just doesn't really quite do the job in the same way that Wu Yang does. But we do have first point. We do have two teams here, one in hotel standing up, and you do have the Genji already coming up to the high ground, trying to kick them out. But the Wu Yang here of Berlin Monkey trying to poke them out, but trying to cause some opportunities here to push to get those picks, taking up point for now. But for APL Sedna, they're the ones who are on the high ground, the low ground. They're gonna have an advantage so long as they do not drop their players. Unfortunately for them,
really trying to get those remote bullets hit, not quite landing, but it's a good way to deny space and force your opponents to really retreat. And that was a clean take from Berlin Monkeys with 5 minutes 30 on the clock, and they've just taken 0.1. Doomfist might not be the play here for APL Sender. They started off with 2 flyers and have already swapped, with Freya not quite getting the value they want, and Echo still not dying.
Yeah, a bit of an unfortunate setup there for APL Sender. I just think that their character choice might not have been the best, really. Just they kind of struggled a little bit, unfortunately. But Berlin Monkeys, they are pushing hard. They're making great use of this Zarya. No wonder Zarya got banned last time. And they are making great use, pushing in and getting those picks.
Yeah, Zarya, really strong counter to Doom. Potentially why APL Sender was so quick to ban her. But with Doom not banned and Zarya clearly being Nico's comfort pick, this is quite scary for APL Sender. And Zarya, we see already on very high charge and probably has stayed above 50% the entire game, even though they nerfed her retention rate on it recently. Now Vendetta, Jelly coming in, trying to land a swipe, misses, but able to block a lot of damage and a lot of attention from their opponents, as that is a sweet grab, able to get 4 kills, really punishing the overcommitment from Jelly there. Yelly.
I know that grab was absolutely beautiful as well. Just what Berlin Monkeys needed, and they just got them in there. The Zarya was high charge, and a high charge Zarya is a monster. You're going to be terrified. You're going to give them a lot of respect, and unfortunately, it seems like Sender did not give the respect due and paid the price with that grab.
Yeah, Pilzo was able to get out of there just about with the help from the Zarya bubble. This is a strategy that's being used almost constantly, with having a dive character to then be able to build up charge for the Zarya and have that be the team's real source of damage. Now, with a sweet ult combo there from Wu Yang and Genji, an interesting choice and able to counter it ultimately only after losing one player, though, with another Wu Yang ult. Now, Zarya does fall, and Berlin Monkeys have taken the point yet again. 4:40 on the clock, and they've almost won.
Yeah, it's been a dominant push so far by Berlin Monkeys. Sure, the blade did not seem to get much damage, but it did not do enough stopping it to really prevent them from holding their place. You got these ultimates coming out online now. Shake with the amazing ultimate, trying to find, give some damage boost here. Overclock as well coming out on the high ground, trying to find some picks, but he's currently missing. Oh, he's able to find one. Isn't able to find two. Finds two
sweet.
eventually. And all is falling apart for Sander. Berlin Monkeys dominant push. 4 minutes on the clock. That is absolutely incredible performance by Berlin Monkeys there.
I mean, with Lucio banned, there's not much you can really do to retreat and allow space for your opponents to retake. The Berlin Monkeys not even banning Lucio. APL Sedna potentially shooting themselves in the foot there with not allowing themselves to move as a team as much as they potentially want to. I'm interested to see if APL Sedna are going to put up a similar performance on attack now, or if we're going to see the same struggle from their opponent, from the aggressors here.
Yeah, well, it's certainly interesting to start off with, and I hope that I am not being jinxed here, but a Winston pick from Sedna? I'm not confident in that pick at all. Winston has been going through a rough time at the moment, just one of the weakest tanks, really. And sure, you might get some high ground opportunity, but at the end of the day, pick a diva. It's just going to do the same job, just better, so much better than Winston.
Interesting choice here from Berlin to swap to the Ana, keeping the Kiri though, probably for the range more than anything, especially on this first point. You can get away with playing a slightly slower game, even though Zarya has less health than tanks normally would. If you've got a pocket Ana from pretty much any distance, it becomes far easier to keep that player alive, and she's a good character for punishing divers if you know what you're doing, which against like one Genji and a Winston you are entirely capable of. But all of Berlin Monkeys choosing to stay on the high ground here, their opponents are either going to have to match them there, which they've tried and failed very quickly to do, as Show instantly discovered. I wouldn't be shocked to see a swap here, or try to go on point and just get shot at from above.
Well, I think that's the problem. If you go to point, go through main, you're almost certainly going to be losing. Berlin Monkeys, they have a player down hotel holding it. They've got the high ground too. They're in a strong position. This Doomfist pick is kind of what I was expecting to start off with over the Monkey, but again, they're still slightly struggling to take the high ground, take the space of these lanes.
Yeah, APL Sedna having incredible trigger discipline here, not to shoot the Doomfist whilst he's blocking. I wish my comp teammates did that. But trying to get them another punch onto Genji, able to do it again, doesn't get the empowered punch. Probably going to take the perk to make it easier to do so once we're at that stage in the game. And Pillows is trying to come onto high ground here. Genji looking low, but not quite dying. They get them! Nice. I mean, that must have been like a horror game for Yelly there, but for Berlin Monkeys, that would have been super satisfying.
Yeah, absolutely. It was incredibly satisfying. So much so that I just had to interrupt you with some unhelpful commentary of just pure excitement as they play a little game of cat and mouse, like just clawing at the little feet to try and get them, to try and get that kill. Eventually it was enough. We're gonna get another push here. We got a window here from Sedna all the way in main, and it's gonna be more than enough though for APL Sedna to just avoid it. They're just not able to capitalize on it, push through, get those kills, do the damage. Berlin Monkeys doing a great job here, full holding so far. 1:40 on the clock. Maybe 3-4 fights remaining for Sedna if they're quick.
Yeah, that window really a misplay, but with Doom coming out onto the high ground here, able to boot back instantly, and they're retaking space. They use the Kyriel on that high ground. That is a really clever use of that ult, and the sleep does not come out from Ana. It comes out from Ana. She's on 1 health. Oh my gosh.
Unreal sleep by the Ana. That is incredible, and it's all that they need to turn this fight around. The Doomfist was doing so much, going deep, trying to find them, pick up that kill, but they held that sleep for the right moment. Just when they thought that the kill was secured, in comes their sleep. Nap time for Doom.
Wild. I don't care what happens the rest of this game now. Nothing's gonna top that. Of course you should still watch, but the ult comes out from Doom, able to get a kill. Sojourn just kind of moving back and forth in the center of it. Now Not sure how much they're going to be able to keep this lead here. Pillows is trying to, almost certainly going to try and touch just before it finishes, and is able to. With the grab coming out as well, that is going to be difficult to respond to. And the Suzu blocks the Doomfist punch. That is really, really valuable. And able to get the kill onto the Genji. Finally, lands a solid punch. But APL have 15 seconds left to cap this objective.
Yeah, they really do. And it's now all but time coming down for them. Burning Monkeys popping the ultimates. They have one more of the Genji ult. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. The copy comes out as well onto the Zarya.
They get it. 3 minutes on the clock. They ultimately cannot overtake their opponents in time. So even if they get all the way here, they will still be playing at a reasonable disadvantage. So I'm interested to see how they're going to be able to recover, even if they get that far.
Oh, very sorry there for the. It sounded like a cutting out briefly there. But Burning Monkeys, I mean, they have the ult advantage, and I think that's kind of what they need. But they were so close to a full hold there, which is honestly impressive, especially with the retake that they tried to make. But Sender, they were able to pick off the kills, find the ones that they needed. And that's all they need to do. They played just a little bit more aggressively as well, especially with that window. And I think that's all that they needed.
Show coming out here looking for an opportunity, trying to clear that angle and get behind our opponent to boop the tank in with the BAP immortality field, just keeping them alive. And the Suzu comes out, able to use the ult with no cooldowns to block it. This is potentially going to be big, and they whiff it! They do have the empowered punch from the ult. Are they going to be able to find a landing, or are they going to get punished for using so many resources in such a small amount of time? And they find the landing with the Kyriot as well. They're going to get more and more, but Blade on the backline from Pillows able to get 2 kills. This is almost neck for neck, but Doomfist able to clear up on the Zarya, and APL have just won that fight by the skin of their teeth.
I really have. You know what I feel like I'm noticing from this fight so far is that Show from Sender is doing a really good job of playing this tank like a DPS, and I feel like honestly, in many ways, that's sort of the meta progression right now. You have the tank and you have the supporters, but you kind of play both of them a little bit like DPS, like kind of very specialized DPS, and I feel like Show is doing a great job of that on this Doomfist.
The sleep dart comes out from Bree and whiffs there. Interesting, followed up by the gravel, leaving Tumiik on the high ground, completely secluded from the supports. That is going to be difficult for APL Sender to respond from, especially with such a far pushback. And Ilari not really great on the defensive here, not really great with the Doom. It's an interesting strategy that's worked a little bit and certainly worked better, especially when considering that back window earlier. But able to get 3 kills there between Berlin Monkeys, and they have won map 2. I have a feeling this is going to be a close match.
You know what? I have to agree, and I think I also have to add as well just how understated of a win that was as well for Berlin Monkeys, because it was clear to me, especially in that last fight, that they knew their win conditions. They were tracking the win conditions of their opponents as well, and those are kind of the blueprints not only of a good team, but a team that is willing to compete and stay focused, stay sharp. Because of that, not only do I think that that team is going to be, heading it into the later part of the season as one of the top teams to beat, but they are certainly doing well altogether. Unfortunately, Zeus has turned into an icon and has disappeared. So I am going to be all by myself for a little bit, I suppose. Oh.
Way. I have just reloaded it and I'm back.
Hello.
Hey
guys.
Oh,
you're back. Oh, I thought you were talking from the void then. How confusing. Oh.
I know, right? But speaking of being taken back from the void after a defeating loss, Berlin Monkeys able to get a strong second match out there. These are 2 close-run teams, especially because we're seeing how they play. We're seeing what they like to run. And Zarya clearly able to counter Doomfist in a really impressive way there. Finally, towards the end, APL Sedna were figuring out how to change their playstyle against our opponents. But it was, in my opinion, a bit too little too late. And now with Lucio back in the hero pool in the upcoming games, it'll be interesting to see if that reduces the capabilities of Bell and Monkeys there if they're running dive. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not too sure that dive is the good choice at the moment. I'll be honest. I think in some ways dive kind of works. I think if you take some of the ideas and philosophies of dive and you sort of combine that into the sort of meta of DPS of all of these kind of double sniper, you name it. I think really that's where the Goldilocks zone is for the meta at the moment is kind of playing somewhere between kind of poke and dive. I think that's really where the meta currently stands. I think that's the Goldilocks zone at the moment. I'm sure maybe some coaches who are far more experienced than me may have a different opinion, but unfortunately, I'm just never able to apply any kind of knowledge to the game because a lot of my teammates are just not very good at this game, unfortunately. Unlike some of the standout players of this match. I mean, Show on that Doomfist has been playing incredibly. Definitely a standout player for me. The tank of Zarya as well from Monkey doing well
Brilliant.
with the Zarya just getting that charge, being aggressive when they need to. Are there any other players for you that really stand out?
Um, I believe it was APL uh, Sedna's um, sojourn in that first game, if I'm remembering correctly. Su- Suko. No, I can't say that. Sorry. uh, Suyuko. Suyuko. Sorry.
Sioku.
Yeah, Suyuko.
Sioku, I
From
guess.
that first
Yeah.
game, able to shut down the enemy tank quite often and really doing a lot. Genji last game, from both sides, really able to work very well to get kills in that backline and punishing their opponents so much. Tummy ache, that's it. That's the play I'm thinking of. Able to do so much so consistently. Uh, should be coming into the next game in just a minute, but you briefly mentioned on the idea of stalling out the game for as long as possible, then making an extremely dynamic dive into the enemy team as fast as possible. And that's kind of the playstyle that the heroes releasing in a week and will be playable in this tournament in 3 are leaning into. They're making the gameplay a lot more about waiting for the opportune moment and then striking as fast as you can. So I'm really excited to see how that shapes the meta and state of the tournament coming forward, especially because it looks to match the current energy of the game.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what to say about that with the with how things are looking there. Um, so I'm just going to ignore everything you said and agree blindly with everything. Ah, yes, Zeus, you're 100% correct on your thoughts on that. Um, I do think that things with the heroes are probably going to be going quite dominant pretty soon. Uh, the few heroes probably going to get overjuiced, overcharged just a little bit. But we are going to be going into the next map at some point, and Watch Point Gibraltar is the
Yeah.
map that has been chosen here. And I've definitely got a lot to say about this. A lot of things that I would like to predict. But is there anything that you would like to predict?
It's a very good Doom map. This is a brilliant map for dive characters, and we're seeing APL Sedna block ban Diva, as I said that, and beat Berlin Black ban Echo, both characters that that rely heavily on being able to use vertical mobility, which is plentiful on Watchpoint Gibraltar. Interesting that both teams don't want to play the standard meta on this map, or at least want to ban a specific character that leans into the meta of this map.
Yeah, and I think that, yes, Gibraltar is a very dive heavy map. I wonder if we're going to see a pick of Winston from show, but again, I don't know if we're going to be seeing that. Doomfist is a strong hero, and perhaps that is what we're going to be seeing from there. Not only that, but Widowmaker is also a strong choice too. I think that that's going to be very strong as well. But that's not all. We are heading quickly into the game. Uh, but I do have something
Widowmaker.
quickly to add. We do have some news as well from some of the other games that have been going on alongside his. And EC Eclipse have won their match 3-0 against Apollo Centauri. So not all good news, unfortunately, for Apollo fans out there. Uh, that is a quick match from them. But if you want to see a match that's not quite so quick and the result perhaps not quite so certain, then you should be sticking around for the rest of this series because I am confident that this next map is going to be just as close between these two teams.
We're seeing through the looking glass there, Tracer and Monkey both appear. Show interesting choice to play that character, but can work very well. APL Sedna running the tried and true dive comp that you would expect with a Monkey, the super strong backline of Anna Brig, one of the most fun in the game, and with Brig being pretty good right now, that's potentially strong. To make able to get an early kill onto Birdner, and a follow-up from Hilzowiz. This is 1-for-1 so far, and with a strong anti-nade coming out, that is going to be 2 kills for Brig. 3!
Yeah, it's not looking good for Berlin Monkeys, unfortunately. APL Sender, I mean, I guess they must have their dive unlocked here. So going for that Monkey, a surprising choice for myself. But this is Gibraltar, and it's kind of one of the very few maps in the game that Monkeys sort of maybe has a little bit of hope where they can play. But not looking quite so good, unfortunately. They are able to jump in, though, Berlin Monkeys, to try and go for the recontest here, prevent them from full capping quite so quickly. Unfortunately for them, they've just got all the angles on lockdown. At least they had Berlin Monkeys able to find the kill here, able to find what they need with the high ground, jumping around with their teammates working together, pushing them back for now. But just look at that ult charge already from both of these teams, especially Sender. Like, you've nearly got 3 ultimates online, and they can be pretty powerful ults.
Absolutely. Hazard looking to rotate it just to the back, able to try to block off the approach from their opponents and giving them a strong opportunity to dive with no ults online for either side. This is going to be an interesting fight. It's essentially a race to see who can get ults first and then who can use them quickly without getting them blocked by normal abilities, because if they are blocked by that, that's really, really expensive. And Tomiik already with the bowler shot, the fastest charging ult in the game, pops it and completely whiffs. That's going to be punishing, especially as Nikios on Hazard, able to get that really fast kill. Tracer looking to find a kill in the backline here, and with Winston primaling everywhere, that's a lot of displacement, that's a lot of damage, and APL Sedna able to kill Berlin Monkeys and take first point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure what to say there, unfortunately. APL Sender doing a great job with using those ultimates to find those kills, with the Tracer using it to, you know, get the Hazard down low and to get the kill, actually forcing them off onto a Winston pick, which I'm a little bit surprised about, but they are going in, pushing back the Winston from the high ground. That is your space, no more, Show. And unfortunately, they are getting pushed back into this. I guess Anseed as well. Nano gets low, but he's able to stay alive for now.
Yeah, that anti on the Nano is extremely punishing and difficult to recover from. But when Brig can ult and become your tank, it's very powerful. 2 lost for the side of APL Sedna, and that's 3 more in an instant. What a play from Winston there.
Absolutely incredible. Not only did they take the space, they were able to, you know, play around and back off in the way that they needed to really just get the ultimates out and send the... They used their ultimates. They played right into the hands of Burning Monkeys. They used their Nano. They used their Brig ultimate. Both of them powerful ultimates that can really change the course of a fight. And now Burning Monkeys, they didn't have to expend any. They're sitting proud. 4 ultimates to their name.
Absolutely. I'm really excited to see what happens here, but with Show low and both supports dead for APL Sedna, this is already a lost fight. The defenders putting up a real strong display here on the second point. 2 minutes staying on the clock, and not much they're going to be able to do here for the rest of this fight. Trying to reset, trying to get a little bit of damage, and now with the bowler shot charged, they can use that early on, hopefully to greater effect than they last did.
For sure. I mean, all they needed was those two little ultimates to stop the push, and that's what they needed. But APL Sender, they're now trying to rebuild their own ultimates of themselves. Only the bowler shot to their name. And I don't think the Tracer Ult is going to be able to do enough damage. But here, jumping up into the back line, the call is made. But unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough. Burden gets a headshot, gets one.
Punished, gets chased down, forgets the enemy team has as much mobility as they do, and able to respond in kindness. With Brig here round the corner, able to try and punish the monkey for making an advancement. Really, really clever positioning from these supports here. Playing textbook dive for Brig and a backline.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, here's me saying, you know, just a few minutes earlier that I think dive is dead. It's never going to see anything else again. But no, these teams are proving me wrong, and they're playing it incredibly well. But unfortunately, although it started off strong for APL Sedna, Berlin Monkeys have found their footing once again, using the ultimates to stall for as much time as possible. But now they've burnt down that bank, APL Sedna. Berlin Monkeys have got only one ultimate to their name.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, this Nana's going to be coming.
APL Sender keep surviving by the skin of their teeth. And that was a nasty combo. That was some incredible animation cancel from Show. They're able to get the kill, and the sleep that's been used, that's going to be difficult to recover from for Ree, and they're not going to be able to. APL Sedna looking to get the kill here, and with a Primal and Winston with so much health, there's not much you can do about the amount of CC and space APL Sedna are going to control, but they're able to retake. The threat of the Primal did not take hold, and now with 15 seconds on the clock, I'm not sure if Berlin Monkeys are going to hold this, especially with the Nano Dragon Blade, able to get one kill, following up not with a second Mirror of Dice Nikios, and Tumiak able to get us another kill. This is some fight. It is neck and neck on the objective right now.
Overtime has been active as well for quite a while, as the poor Freya is jumping around the car. Reinforcements have arrived. Ultimate's coming online. Kiriko ult's coming out just in time for Burning Monkeys as they all rush onto the point, pushing them away. APL Sedna not able to complete that, unfortunately. Just a few meters away from capturing that second point. Burning Monkeys, that flood retake of the point is honestly incredible.
That was a really interesting half. There was a lot of back and forth. Early on, it looked like Sedna had the strong lead, and as it went on, Berlin Monkeys just got more and more comfortable in their position in how they were playing. But with the roles reversed, I'm not sure what's going to happen now. That Brigana backline clearly proving to be the stronghold of APL Sedna here. It's potentially going to be quite threatening and difficult to deal with in a position where it's stronger, where you can have that Brig on the high ground, and with Tumiak on Sojourn, which we've seen plenty of so far this match, it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, Anna Brig backline is it's quite strong, especially with the Brig. The Brig is kind of one of the must-pick plays. You kind of go generally as a compositionally, you go with a Lucio or a Brig. You kind of pick one of the two, and then your other support sort of plays around depending on what the situation entails. Burning Monkeys, though, going for an unusual backline, at least for the meta so far, with an Anna and a Kiriko. They seems to be doing them just fine. But now they're having to jump into the backline.
The boop on the Winston, really punishing and really good at stalling their opponents, giving them an opportunity to rotate. And Winston's just Tesla cannoning each other here, and Brig literally just blocking off the dive route. This is textbook positioning from APL Sedna, and although the objective's being moved, it can't be moved much further without extreme damage for Berlin Monkeys. Looking to get a kill onto Winston, not quite able to find it, and as soon as someone dies, that creates a gap, and both teams are going to die for it. diving prematurely from Show there, not quite getting a kill, retakes space, and with Genji already halfway to the point, we might see almost a C9 here, but Tracer there to meet them on the point, and a nice kill onto Tomiek. That was incredible positioning. This is such a wide fight with a second onto Pilzois, and Yelly getting a follow-up. That is incredibly well played by that Tracer. If a little worrying that they forced their own, their opponent into their own ally.
Yeah, well, seems to be going well for them, at least so far, and winning team fights is all that you really need. And now they're back into this kind of neutral, starting to play around, trying to find those opportunities, poke around, see the opportunity. A dive comes in from Burning Monkeys. Hopefully going to be able to get out soon because they got antied, but they got the ultimate to spare.
Moving their opponents so much. That is going to be so difficult to deal with, especially with Brig on one, able to boot him away, and they managed to survive the engagement. Coming out with that ult and a 2k for the side of APL Sedna. They're going to hold. They're still going to hold. 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm going to predict the Berlin Monkeys are going to be the ones winning this fight. In fact, they're winning this map as well. They're just going to push through this defense from APL Sedna, and honestly, it's looking pretty strong, to be fair. But they don't have the ultimates available to them. Berlin Monkeys, sorry. They have the Nano, and they have the Kiriko ult. Both of them, powerful ultimates. You're going to be able to enable them to do a lot of damage very quickly. Here comes the Nano already onto the Monkey. Trying to help their Jewel, jumping up to try and get those picks. Going to be going in with the whole teammates, but the whole team is there, squished together. But they're just not able to find the kills just yet. Instead, Tomiek finds the kill. Berlin Monkeys drop 2.
And with Brig and Winston, the only ones on the point, this is going to be difficult to hold. But, I mean, Berlin Monkeys don't have currently a live tank. So it's going to be ultimately difficult to last that long. But
I don't think it's going to matter. You still got three people. The tank may be alive, but only now are the rest of the team coming together. So you kind of stalled for all this time. You've been able to build up your ultimates. Your Kiriko ultimates now come online. Your DPS ultimates have come online, and it's more than enough to capture the point. Burning Monkeys are now into the second part of the map, where they defended so well.
Now, Nikios trying to get an angle here, able to deal a lot of damage, or a reasonable amount of damage, and ultimately force their opponents to engage them on the high ground here, looking to get that melee kill with the jump, melee hit with the jump just misses, but an engagement booping the Sojourn off of high ground, really clever. And with Winston coming out the side here, they're going to have so many options to where they dive to following, and they choose to commit to the kill, are able to get it onto Burden, and that's going to be difficult for Monkeys to recover from, especially without a tank to block a lot of the damage at the forefront, rather just trying to deny space, which did work for a while, but without the ability to capitalize on it, there's not much you can do. Oh,
nearly jumping into the pulse bomb there at their demise, but unfortunately they stay alive. They are able to try and slowly pick off some of these members here of APL Sedna, and maybe it's just enough, but they're doing their job here as well, Burning Monkeys. They've got plenty of ultimates. Ultimates come online. Used, but unfortunately, Sioku gets killed with the ultimates.
Very soon on only 84 health. Tracer needs to look at him and he dies, pops it at 25! And not able to get much follow-up here. Show popping his own ult and able to get far more value. Although Nikios did eventually get that kill with 1:30 on the clock, and Berlin Monkeys are almost there. They just need to win one fight.
They do just one more fight, and they will be victors of this map. And my prediction from about 2 minutes ago will finally come true, and I'll be certainly pleased. I wonder if you in chat made the right prediction long ago, but they have some ultimates available to them. They have the same ultimates, actually, in fact. And so I think this is really going to come down to how well they're going to be using them, but they've got fights to spare. You know, they've got at least 50 seconds. They've got another fight if they're able to end this quickly. Monkey here, though, jumping in, able
Monkey
to find the
dives
kills
into
that they
Monkey.
need. Re
Getting the
finds
kill
the
onto
kill
Yelly.
onto Yelly. It's
And the
looking tough
tummy
for
ache
Burning
pops the
Monkeys.
ult, gets Burden instantly. Are they going to find a follow-up? No, but that is still incredibly valuable. Getting rid of the opponent's hitscan DPS, one of the most important roles in these rosters, the real can opener that deals so much damage. Show getting Pilzois here, and so low the Suzu was saving them in the end. This is why you play Kiriko to counter those Ana anti-nades and the like.
Yeah, absolutely. It's you know, having that Suzu available is just going to be incredibly powerful. It's why you
Ooh.
pick it most of the time. But what a beautiful sleep there
With 1
onto
second
the
left, they're not
monkey,
going to be
and
able
it's
to
going to give them an
touch.
opening surely to go in and get the kills that they need. But it's overtime.
Trying to
Burning
drop
Monkeys, the
down, able
tap
to touch, but
just
dies in the process. Wrecking Ball coming in, not going to be able to reach the point in time. That was a photo finish. And APL Sedna have won their second game. This is 2-1 so far in a best of 5. We're coming on to match point for APL Sedna next game. And that's where teams really need to be playing their best.
Yeah, absolutely. You really do need to be playing your best, especially in those kind of situations. But sometimes the only real thing that makes that difference, it's not just a, you know, a gameplay one. It can also be a mental one just as much. And knowing what to say in the right way and having the right kind of attitude can really be the game maker, the difference maker in these games. You gotta be thinking. You can't be in that mindset of we've lost. Oh, their player is just better. Their Widowmaker was just absolutely annihilating us. You can't be thinking that. Instead, you got to be confident. You got to believe in your teammates. You got to be, you got to have that just energy.
I mean,
The confidence just to to make those plays. Yeah,
I
that
mean
might
the
not play out, but you know.
I'll be honest. The only time I've seen Widowmaker dominate a pro lobby was Donk in 2017, old OWCS. Uh, but like aside from that, Widowmaker's not been too hot recently, and it's probably a good thing she's not. Otherwise, she breaks the game, and it just becomes a Widow 1v1, and then everyone else gets to play the game. But looking at this next map, I'm interested to see what happens. This is where teams are more likely to choose bands that they are not comfortable with playing against. This is where they want to bring out whatever they've been saving or their opponent's ace in their sleeve, I guess, to block out that option, that choice from their opponents, so then they can win the final game or potentially final 3.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that at all. Um, but I do have to double down though on your comment about Widowmaker. I know you said that the last time you saw Widowmaker dominate was Donk back in OWCS, but I'm not so sure that that is going to be the case, at least for much longer, because in one of the first matches in this season, we have
Oh,
uh, one of these teams nominating a player specifically for their Widowmaker play. And I feel like if you're getting praised by the enemy team and getting nominated as MVP for your Widowmaker, it sounds like you were a disgusting kind of Widowmaker. It sounds like you were an absolute menace, just getting all sorts of really, really awful shots on there to find the kills that you need. So I think I think it's entirely possible for Widowmaker to come into their moment. But we do have another map coming up, and uh, I'm interested to see what kind of map we will see picked.
yeah, this is going to be really interesting. I believe we're coming on up onto Flashpoints next. Flashpoints, a very controversial game mode. A lot of people don't
Yeah,
love it, and probably justified. But the
I don't like
style of
it.
flashpoints is generally very you need to cover long distances in short amounts of time. So that makes heroes like Juno or Lucio very prevalent. And I mean, we're probably going to see even more dive coming out from Berlin Monkeys. That is their forte. That is their bread and butter. And honestly, I'll be surprised if we see anything but that this entire tournament.
Well, yes, indeed. I think that the map has been chosen here by
Sarabasa.
Monkeys as Suravasa, indeed. And I gotta say, out of all the maps, I think that of Flashpoint, not only do I hate Flashpoint as an entire as a game mode, I think that Suravasa is probably the worst map as well out of the Flashpoints. It's just ah,
I don't know.
I
There's
just don't
Atlas.
like it.
Atlas isn't great either. New Drink City is the only. Oh, the Battle of Zarya. Interesting. APL clearly bringing that the first 2 games to pretty great effect. Oh, no, actually, only 1 game so far to pretty solid effect. And APL Sedna blocking out that Genji. A strong dive. It's really difficult to deal with that sort of pressure that can come out, especially when they got such a ludicrous kill in about a second onto Sojourn early last game. I'm interested to see how these teams now form compositions on a map where you need to travel long distances and can't have a Genji or a Zarya to bubble people who end up being hung out.
I mean, yeah, I mean these map bans, sorry, hero bans, with Genji and the Zarya. Honestly, it's a little bit surprising as well. Um, with the Zarya ban, because Zarya has been banned before already in the first map that we played in this series, but it was banned by the other team, so it is available to be banned by
Yeah.
Monkeys, which they have done. Uh, and I wonder how well it's going to work out because honestly, I feel like Monkeys with that Zarya, they were playing incredibly well. So I'm not sure what that was about, but perhaps, they're sensing something about being forced, something that I'm not entirely sure about. But before we go into the map, I just want to give you a quick update on the other map that is currently going on between LGS Hex and the other Apollo team, Celestial. They are,
Yeah.
sorry,
Terra.
Katara. They are
Terra.
currently 2-1. So
Yeah.
it's not the only map here series in Crown Cup that is a close one.
And we do have some brilliant teams in this tournament, in this category.
It's true. It's
that we'll
true.
hopefully get to see later on in the tournament. Teams such as Establishing Team and San Fran Slop, the second best Overwatch team name I have ever seen.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those teams and casting them for sure, as I am enjoying and looking forward to this match that is going to be coming up right now between these two teams. And honestly, from all that I've seen so far, part of me is going to predict that we're going to see a map victory for Sedna. Now, I don't know what you think. Who do you think is going to be winning this particular map?
Um. Oh gosh, sorry. I just saw the comp Sedna was running. I think Berlin Monkeys if they're running.
I think that's an appropriate reaction. I think that's an
Uh,
appropriate reaction to seeing that composition.
I'm sorry, but Life Weaver Torbjorn Hanzo?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna double down now. This composition is the composition to go on this map. You got your Torbjorn.
They've stopped.
No,
A
I
ball,
can't believe it. I was gonna give it a full profit. I was gonna glaze their composition. They didn't even give me the opportunity to.
The Orisa into Queen is interesting though. To veer off topic, or back onto it, I guess. Orisa kind of countering Queen a bit, but still able to deal a lot of damage individually, and with a commanding shout, that makes a very fast comp for Berlin Monkeys. Almost choosing to go into rule for the first time they've done so this game or this match.
Yeah, I'm not confident if that's going to be the right choice. I would have gone with something that you're a bit more comfortable with, something that you played quite a few more times to success, rather than trying to mix it up. But this is Flashpoint, and the game mode does play quite a bit differently than the others, and so you do have to account for that, not only in your team composition, but how you play.
Mhm. Absolutely. The overhealth gained from um, Fortify there for Orisa, and with a full rotate onto the backline here from Queen, able to jump up the side, something I didn't really realize he could do. And trying to find an angle, trying to find an opportunity, gets 2 kills onto that backline, and Orisa is going to fall in suit with a commanding shout, able to give the entire team of Berlin Monkeys so much overhealth, it does not matter.
Yeah, yeah, sorry, absolutely. It really does not matter whatsoever. And Berlin Monkeys, though, started off strong with the first capture points flipped in their favor. Sedna here are going to get really, really one opportunity to try and retake this point, and they're going to start off strong by using ultimates. But unfortunately, Burning Monkeys, they're using their Kiriko ult. They have that
Ooh,
ult
Kiri getting a
advantage.
kill. Following it up. And Nikios able to kill Tummy Ache. Ooh, Pillow's looking one, able to find the health pack there below. And the re-engagement here from APL, able to uh, find a great retake. I
Yeah,
mean, they're at 44% and counting. This is one last fight for this point, and then both teams are going to have to rotate, which is something Berlin Monkeys clearly has an advantage on with both the Lucio and the commanding shout from Junker Queen.
yeah, absolutely. But who knows how this is going to really turn out, because it all comes down to this next fight, for this first point at least. Do you invest all the
Ooh,
ultimates?
the
And
beat
for
comes
Burning
out
Monkeys,
alongside the Queen ult. That is a hefty investment. They're arguably 2 best ult, followed by Kiri, their third. And it's ultimately failed for the most part, with most of APL Sedna dying, Yeli the only one left alive, and only 1 casualty for the side of Berlin Monkeys. Are they even going to bother staying on point, or are they just going to move to next point?
well, I think it is just going to be moving on to the next point, no doubt. They've only got so much time left remaining, but Burning Monkeys capturing that first point, putting themselves in the lead for now. It's first to 3 flashpoints as a game mode, but I'm sure you all know that experienced Overwatch players of chat, and unfortunately, not so good of a start for Sedna, losing 1 player already.
And a fast rotate onto point there for or for APL no, Berlin Monkeys is going to be really, really useful there. They're going to be able to take that space, and they were able to push their opponents back effortlessly, already taking the second objective.
This ends now.
Yeah, at least for now. But Ultimate's coming online, trying to use that open space with the overclock to try and get those kills, but isn't able to find any, unfortunately. Burning Monkey still looking as healthy as ever, trying to push in and find the kill, but Show is the one to do so. Finds the
Ooh.
first pick, first blood, but it's not enough. They're trading
Pillowers
out here.
dies. Now, with the Queen coming out here, able to get a lot of damage, not able to do that much, and re-killing Yeli is a good play, a strong play. Now, 45% on the objective. Are Berlin Monkeys going to look to push out further, or are they going to hold their current positioning where they can block from all angles? Maybe not necessarily as well as they would otherwise, though. Show looking to get some poke damage here, finding an opportunity to dive, potentially waiting for Nikios to use their abilities, and with the dive onto the straight up backline here, and Nikios very quickly getting their ult after a kill. There is absolute carnage on the objective here.
Yeah, absolutely carnage, but once again, it goes in the favor of Burning Monkeys for now, able to pick up the kills that they need, and they have the auto advantage as well. Sedna not looking so good. Yes, they have a Kiriko ult to their name, but I just don't think that's ever going to be enough in the face of the ults that Berlin Monkeys have. And I'll be honest as well, I got to add that my prediction at the very start that this was going to be Sedna's map, it's not looking quite so good anymore.
No, but with an interesting swap from Sedna onto the Queen with Vendetta, it is going to be interesting. Vendetta able to manipulate the speed you get from your allies, turn just to engage so far into the enemy backline, but it's ultimately risky. And Tracer looking for a kill in the backline here, able to get it with the assist from Lucio, able to getting a lot of assists here, not really finding those final hits, but certainly enabling it, and through their positioning, applying a lot of pressure.
Yeah, what it looks like when I'm playing Tracer. I don't get any kills, but man, am I spraying or playing at the closest enemy I can see on my screen. But it's more than enough for Burning Monkeys, though. The rest of the team helping and getting the kills. And, you know, actually, sometimes it's not all about the kills. I know a lot of times you can pick a character for the kills because the big flashy pays, but sometimes it's just about the space and denying the position of the opponent team. Switch out from Sedna as well. Back onto the Doomfist, and I think this is where it's going to be turning around, surely.
Yeah, Sedna looking like a little bit of a one-trick pony here, with only really being able to make Doomfist work, but that is a lot of damage, and they can really make Doomfist work, able to get a kill very quickly in that backline, when their opponents weren't necessarily expecting a play that bold. Now, Lucio almost booping Sojourn off the map there. Now, again, another kill.
Yeah, another kill, and they survived all of these ultimates the Berlin Monkeys threw out. They threw out the Junker Queen ult, they used beads, and they're still there, still alive, fighting strong, and that's kind of all that they need. They managed to capture points, barely, but now they've got an uphill climb against them. Burning Monkeys are
having
back
to
for
receive
more.
the point just to be able to heal and recover from the fight. With 89% on the point here, it's going to be difficult to recover, and almost charging his ult doesn't quite be able to get that kill. And Pilzo is able to win the Tracer 1v1. That brings it up to 2-2. Berlin Monkeys have won the 4th game of this match.
That is indeed true. It is now equalized between these two teams. And unfortunately, my prediction did not came true. But do you know what else, though, has happened? We are on to a 5-map series. An absolute banger. No wonder, you know, one prediction that we did make right at the very start was that this was going to be a close series. And it all comes down... It certainly was. And it all comes down to this next map. So what do you think is going to be coming out of these two teams?
I'm not sure. I think that we saw Berlin Monkeys a little uncomfortable with fighting that Doomfist there, and Show definitely Show for the side of APL Sedna definitely the most comfortable with Winston and Doomfist, but focusing mainly on Doomfist because Winston's not the best right now, except watch Point Gibraltar on a couple dive maps. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see even more Doomfist. But even then, their opponents have kind of figured out how to play against Doomfist. So it's becoming more and more difficult to as the match goes on. Doomfist is a character with a lot of tricks, and once you get wise to them, it becomes difficult to respond properly, or it becomes difficult to use those tricks again and again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't really just be picking a character just for the little tricks that you know. You really do have to know the character well, in and out. You've got to be using it for the abilities that it offers, the opportunities that those abilities provide, and you got to capitalize on them as well. And I feel like, you know, Apollo Sedna have been doing that well a lot of the time, but like you were saying, it's not just the little tricks that are getting figured out. It feels like they're also figuring out their play style as well. That Doomfist is no longer getting the value that they once were with all the aggressive pushes and plays. But then again, I think maybe that last map on Saravasa, all it was really was just not swapping to that Doomfist soon enough.
Yeah, I understand why they don't want to always run Doomfist. Because if you start running the same character all the time, you get really comfortable with that. And as soon as they're banned or as soon as they're hard countered, it becomes difficult to pivot properly. And we've been seeing that these teams have been almost struggling to run to run either against Doomfist or someone who isn't Doomfist. They really tried to go someone not Doomfist into that queen for APL Sedna, and APL Sedna shut down everyone else. But as soon as they went Doom, they were getting those kills in the backline. They were displacing, and they completely changed how their opponents were playing. I think also Brig potentially had an impact on it. So I'm not sure about the longevity APL Sedna has in this tournament if they can't adapt to different heroes later on.
Yeah, but I think they've definitely got it in them to be adapting to those different heroes. Of course, we're going to also see the meta evolve as well, and I think being able to adapt to that is going to be just as important. But that's not the only things that we have as well. With that last map, I really got to, you know, I think I've just got to pay a bit more attention to those supports of both of those teams. The Ana was getting some incredible sleeps, so I really think that's the next player to be watching and focusing, especially if you're a fan of either of those teams, because it's not just that Doomfist sleep on King's Row. I think it wasn't just a one-off. I think they've got that in them to just consistently do that, and maybe that's the sort of angle that they've been playing to really shut down this Doomfist and get the victories that they need.
Yeah, potentially. This is a long match, which is good and really interesting. I think we're definitely going to see these teams fight each other later on, given how similar they are in skill and ability. Now, the next map will be Payload. Payload's really interesting. Payload requires continuous concentrated force on the objective, and it's really sappy. Oh, push. Beams. Next map's push. Sorry,
It's push. Yes, it's push. The other game mode that was recently added, and again, also not particularly my favorite. But I have actually, I'll be honest, I've warmed up to the game mode a little bit more as time goes on. It's still just not my favorite. But the key for push, though, unlike the others, is to win fights consistently. Right, you gotta win one fight, then you gotta win the next, and then the next. If you're able to win like 4 fights in a row, you win the map. That's basically how push goes. And so, playing off of how Overwatch tends to play with, the back and forth between fights that you tend to get, especially at a high level, where it's better to save your ult a little bit and go for the next time because you've already lost this fight. Those kind of little things put a dampener into push, and you sort of play in the middle a little bit more, unless one team is able to make a break for it. But I think that's not the only thing that we should be paying attention to. It's also what kind of heroes we might be seeing and what players might be picking, because I think that's
Freya.
what okay,
The Freya
Freya
ban
was
here.
banned. Yeah, this is pricing
That's
ban.
big. This map has a solid amount of vertical mobility or verticality and a lot of
That's
long
right.
sightlines. Freya is one of the best hit scan DPS for this map, and with Junker Queen banned as well, it will be just that little bit more difficult to close those distances, to close those gaps.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're right about that. The with the Freya being a good ban,
Yeah.
because it can just be quite powerful, and I feel like you know one of these teams has been doing a very good job with their Freya in general, and has been picking it consistently as well, even when it's not quite worked out for them. So I think that's going to be interesting to see. But I think the real kicker is going to be this tank player of Sedna, and whether they go monkey out of the gates. I did say before that I wasn't confident on the monkey pick, because monkey's just been a little bit of a weak hero at the moment. Maybe Doomfist is to go again, but you've already made many points about this Doomfist.
Yeah. There's a lot to talk about. He's a good Doomfist, but without the ability to change character, it can be difficult. And I mean, do you want to? Do you want to?
Do I want to make? Sorry, do I want to make a prediction? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was trying to read the sign.
The sign. There are plenty of signs and
I can't read
signs in
under pressure,
Overwatch.
man. I can't
No.
read weird words under pressure.
No, it's true. It's very difficult to read a language that's just completely
Mercy?
made up. Is it
No,
made up? I don't know.
okay.
I'm not entirely sure. I shouldn't say things that I'm unsure about. Usually,
Hey, they
obviously.
swapped off Mercy.
Oh, this one meant no. I
Almost
thought
as
no. Look, I was
criminal as
gonna
Torbjorn.
glaze the Mercy pick as well. Okay, this is my opportunity. But Berlin Monkeys here with the lineup and their team composition. I think this is going to be going in Berlin Monkeys' favor. That's my prediction. I don't know what chat thinks, but that is my prediction. I'm sure if
The
you're a fan
bubble
of either of
here
those teams.
to enable Yeli's engagement doesn't quite come through. But again, following that, they've got that timing down to a T. They've clearly calmed that, and it still fails. Just the overcommit. Although with that extra beam power for Zarya, that is going to be very valuable, able to deal a lot of damage, and ultimately that's what's going to deny the space. Show looking 2v1 and dies in the 1v1. A strong lead from Berlin Monkeys.
Yeah, absolutely. And I am happy. I'm pleased with my prediction of Berlin Monkeys having the favor. I just think that with the Zarya kind of in there, Zarya's been very strong lately. You're very strong. You've got the DPS to back them up. You've got the Lucio to kind of get those initial picks to enable the DPS to follow up on them. I think just overall, Berlin Noise is just a nicer, well-rounded team composition. And I feel like forcing this Vendetta is maybe not the best choice.
Now, Show coming onto the backline here, able to get a kill with that melee onto Burden.
That's all that they really need as well to really open up the team against the attacks here of Sedna, and they're going to be going in using that Tesla cannon to just electrify the team. And I'm sure the fans are electrified to see them doing this well and performing in this tournament. And it's just more than enough to get them to get a little bit of car progress. And the ultimates, though, they're looking kind of even right now. I'll be honest. I don't think this is going to come down to ultimates, but positioning.
Yes. Now, Yali looking to get onto the backline here, using the block prematurely. It still doesn't work. I'm not sure what they wanted to do there. They just all ran in to them and killed them. Now, Berlin Monkeys, burden almost getting low, but it doesn't end up being quite as much of a burden on their team. As Berlin Monkeys push up onto their opponents, they're currently in the lead and they're about to get even more distance. But with Show rotating on Winston here, they're definitely retaking it. And an interesting aggression here. Very, very fast paced with the Lucio speed boost and Kiri Ultimate. Is it going to be enough in the end?
I sure hope it's going to be. They use the beat as well to try and counteract, give them a little bit of lives, but unfortunately Berlin Monkeys, they're the ones to beat second, giving them the advantage in this fight surely, as unfortunately a couple of members of Sedna go down to the push of Berlin Monkeys, and now they are able to get the kill. Berlin Monkeys doing strong. Unfortunately, despite the attempt of Sedna here to recontest, which I think was beautiful, well timed as well. Just wasn't enough really. They just didn't quite have the ult advantage to just power through the defense and teamwork of Berlin Monkeys.
Winston diving onto the backline here, and Pillow is just having to retreat, knowing the threat Winston can face to a Genji is big. And with Yelling on the backline here, we're looking at a DPS 1v1 that Pillows really does not want to engage with, and the kill onto the Kiriko is smooth and sweet. Gets a reset on the dash, gets another with the second kill. That is some well played Genji right there. Oh, the fourth!
4K is certainly beautiful to be seeing, and that's all that they need to be making even more progress. But I think what's going on here is actually not only a demonstration of Berlin Monkeys and this Genji on display, when you really let this just do work, to have free reign in the verticality of this map, but also with how I was describing of how these maps tend to go. Ultimates coming out though from both of these teams.
A sweet bubble and a nice kill onto Kiriko, just overcommitting there with that TP. Not the best playing, clearly gets punished for it. With Sedna looking low, but the Primal comes out, giving a lot of space and potential damage as Yelly gets the kill onto Ree. And Show jumps off the map! How did we not get that on camera?
Oh, I am so disappointed.
No!
Oh!
no!
The Genji off the point as well.
I thought this was over. Last season we had 2 Genjis jump off the map in a minute. It's happened again.
It has happened again.
I-
Maybe trying to go a little bit greedy for the slashes, the dashes, but unfortunately, it's a splash for the Genji off the map. And now Berlin Noise. Berlin Noise.
Sorry,
No,
I'm about
this
to
isn't a
pass
maths.
now.
This isn't maths anymore. There's no Berlin Noise here. It's Berlin Monkeys on the offensive. Unfortunately, losing control, but I don't think that'll be long. They do have a strong composition, and I'm sure they'll be able to take it up. But APL Sedna, I'm sure they are going to have another word about this. On the side, trying to find a pick, trying to do the damage while the tank goes in,
Yeah, now
making progress.
a lot of damage coming out onto the backline here. Burden able to get an early kill. And Tommy just looking to retreat. Kiri gets booped off the map, and Tommy follows. That wasn't intentional, but
That
very
was
funny.
intentional. It is. They
Is
just have
Yelly
to go
going
for
to
the
follow
reset.
suit?
Yeah.
No, Yelly's going to reset. That's fair. That's probably well advised.
Just it's the quickest reset. You lost the
Yeah.
fight. Unfortunately for them, they just dropped too many members for that fight. But now we're seeing a swap onto the Doomfist of Shu. I think this is a good swap, to be fair. But I'm not sure how well it's working for them as they go low. Die,
Ooh,
unfortunately,
Rhea
at the
able to
hands
kill
of Rhee
And
as the rest of the team
Tommy
go in, get
falls.
microwaved by the
Sedna
Zarya.
quickly losing that fight. There was no hesitation for Berlin Monkeys. They popped the speed boost and they just ran with it. That was a very strong play from Lucio, just going into the enemy team.
I wonder why they just went into the enemy team, but they weren't able to make it work, get the kills that they needed. But unfortunately,
Ooh,
for
what is this Lucio doing?
they play aggressively with the teammates not around. They are able to survive miraculously.
I mean, probably looking for an opportunity to beat, not going to find it, and gets very low from Zarya, not really realizing how much power she was on. Now looking for a reset, Show taking a lot of damage and able to get a hefty punch, ultimately punished with Nikios getting 2 kills onto their opponents. This is 3-4 on the objective and very little distance to travel with 2 minutes 20 on the clock. There is not much time for APL to recover and bring this all the way back. I don't think Berlin Monkeys are making it all the way, but it's unlikely they lose unless there's a Doomfist and a Sojourn that get 2 nasty kills early on in the fight.
Oh, sure. I mean, who else could put it down to that? But unfortunately, even with that, it might not be enough with the Genji going absolutely crazy, picking up the kills. Zarya staying alive. Now high
Is it that
charge. Look at the
crazy?
90 charge. 1v1 against their fellow tank. Perhaps they can still make it work. Picks up, 2 kills already. But thankfully, this crazy funny business comes to an end. APL Sedna are able to stabilize. But just look at this. They've got a mountainous task ahead of them to get all the way back.
Absolutely. Now with 1 minute 20 on the clock. That was a full minute? Gosh, that went by fast. And I mean, the remainder of this game is going to go by even quicker. Both teams fully engaging. Every ult is being popped by APL, and they've not found any kills off the back of it. This is going to give Berlin Monkeys a massive opportunity for kills and to win the fight. And with Show coming out from here, able to get a lot of damage onto Pills, it's going to be tough for Berlin Monkeys to recover. They may not have got much value from their ults, but it gave them enough space to win the fight.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's all, and that's just what they needed as well. They have, less than a minute on the clock now for APL Sedna, and they are able to turn this around ever so slightly. Maybe the compositional switch that they have come out with is just what they needed, but this Trace is looking for a juicy kill. Surely they find it. No, they
Ooh, tries
missed!
to get it.
Ah!
Misses. Gosh.
I was so excited, but it does not come for fruition, and unfortunately, they're not going to be able to gain a nice chunk of advantage as the fight goes
Ooh,
on.
missed the punch.
Unfortunately,
Follows up, cleanly though. This is real last minute stakes here. But APL Sedna still need to win 2 or 3 fights in a row to get all the way, and they C9!
The C9.
Trying to use the
APL
ult to get back on
Sedna.
point. They just don't quite touch, with Berlin Monkeys killing many of their opponents almost instantly. That was well played by both sides, but and a strong first match to be streamed here.
Yeah, absolutely. And if these are the kind of games that are being picked out by the staff here at Crown Cup, then I am looking forward to what kind of magic they're going to be doing in the future. Because that was incredible. First game of the entire tournament that we've streamed, and it's a 5 map banger. You rarely get to see them at all. But to start off
Yeah.
with one, that is a high point for sure, and it was close too. There were
It was.
there were so many good moments. It looked like Sedna were just a strong team dominating, and then you got Monkeys coming back with revenge, with vengeance, getting a strong win on Kings Row. But that last map, oh, they had a mountain to climb, and yet they still tried to climb it. But unfortunately, like you said, they C9'd. Devastating.
Yeah, that's got to be good. But they're not out of the running yet. We're still in a Swiss stage, and I would be shocked if we don't see these teams fight each other again. They are almost certainly going to be really, really closely run. This match was already insanely close. If we see them coming up in the next couple weeks and months, I wouldn't be shocked if to see the inverse result here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. I think that this will be a good opportunity for both of these teams to take it to their coach and have a little bit of a study and understand what went wrong and what's important right now to fix those mistakes, to get those victories, and to change those outcomes, because that was a beautiful match. And I'm sure there's plenty to dissect from both of those coaches to analyze and understand. I wish I could just be inside their head and understand what they were thinking as a result of this. I'm excited to see these teams in the future.
Yeah. So, what are you thinking about for MVP? Who do you think was the most valuable member there?
I mean, I certainly have my thoughts. The teams as well actually will get the opportunity to make their own guess. Sorry, not own guess, their own nominations as well. So I'm looking forward to hearing and seeing from them. But for me, oh man, that is a difficult choice, right? I feel like the the Zarya of Nikios was was just honestly very very good, especially against Show, who I felt like was showing as a very strong tank, especially early on in the series. Uh, they were just always high charge as well, just
Yeah.
working well with the teammates, and that's sometimes the most important part of uh, of Overwatch.
Yeah. Uh, I want to give it to Ree for the name alone, but I'm going to hold myself back. Although they were a very good Lucio, I I think I have to agree with you. Nikios able to do so much as a tank there, able to play in just the right ways, and really shut down Doomfist once Zarya was not banned.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon it was when Zarya was not banned, they were absolutely menaces on that hero. I almost feel sorry for them, but I don't think that's everything. Of course, I think there are definitely plenty of mistakes that these teams could learn from, and I'm just I'm always excited. But you know what I'm going to be taking away from this? It's not just that this was a close match. It's not just that this was, uh, some of the teams that I think are going to be at the top of the leaderboard in the Swiss stage. Um, and I don't think we're going to be seeing a reverse. Sorry, and even if we do see a reversal, my real takeaway is my accuracy of predictions. I think I went 4-1 on my predictions for the maps.
Yeah, yeah, that I mean,
And in a
I've got to
close
hand it to
series
you.
as well. That's I
That
think
was
that's good.
that was pretty good. Yeah. So hopefully in a couple of seconds we should be able to see the Swiss stage rankings so far. We've had several tournaments, or a bunch of games so far, and here we see them. This has not been updated with today's matches yet, but we already see a couple teams pulling ahead, and behind you can see all the teams that are going to be playing through this entire tournament, which is going to be long. So if you ever need to catch up, where should they go, Yaffa?
Oh, that is a good question. If they ever need to catch up, they can check out the YouTube channel for Crown Cup. It is going to be linked in the description just below in the Twitch stream that you are watching. And you can also follow on social media, join the Discord for the latest news, and you'll be able to find us then. But not only that, we have got a guaranteed day that we will always be streaming, and that is Saturday at
Yes.
7:45 p.m. Every week we are going to be streaming a game here from Crown Cup, so you had better be sticking around for that and catching that for your regular little dose of some competitive Overwatch.
Yeah. We also have our Challenger division with 3 teams this season. This is the slightly lower division that's meant to be more of an entry, a bit more relaxed into the tournament. But I'm excited to see what happens between those 3 teams, as they will be doing a round robin into a final.
Yes,
Now-
and I am certainly looking forward to that with the final and how that goes. Interesting setup already with so many matches playing out and certain teams coming out on top. But I don't think that it's going to be strictly about that coming through. But we do have an MVP nomination from one of these teams, Berlin Monkeys, nominating Sho as their MVP and Sioku as a honorable mention.
Hell yeah. I have to agree. Show was doing pretty well. I think we're gonna see a lot of growth from them. They show a lot of potential, and they were doing really well. They've got the mechanics of Doomfist down. I think once they learn to position just a little bit better on other characters, and once the team's communication improves as the tournament goes on, that is going to be a formidable team and opponent.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really going to
I
be a
believe-
formidable team.
I believe we're going to go, but just before we do, we got to show you
Yes.
that Ajax again.
Oh yes, and that is right. We're going to see this beautiful moment.
Oh, it's
Once and for all.
happening!
Hey!
Can I get
What
a
a
pog
beautiful
champ in
way.
chat?
Absolutely. What a beautiful way to wrap up the show for today. Once again, check out the YouTube channel for VODs. Check the socials to find out the latest information. Join the Discord. Follow on Twitch here, and just turn up on Saturday for the stream. It's going to be an epic one for sure.
See you there. It's going to be a hell of a season.
For sure.